instantly. The public inquiry privileged users can manage it through web browsers, and it demonstrates and documents the scientific content of specimens through things like projects, documents, and media. So it's more than just label data, and that is, I think, a really important aspect of what we're trying to do. So now I'm going to turn it over to these guys to actually go through some of the different forums and what Arctos does, and it's totally open, and people want to, ask questions or see particular things. Just ask them if there's a next. So take a breather. Switch.
Or if you have air bears, you can actually just log on to Arctos and follow along.
That's true.
Yeah.
Although the air bears in this building,
Yeah, air bears is a little wonky this past
true.
week, though. But
I'm doing it right now.
okay, there you go.
Well, we'll crowd around your computer then.
Yeah. So yeah.
One question I had, Carla. So the really small institutions that are part of this, do they pay into the operational costs, or?
No.
No, okay.
No, so that would be things like Western New Mexico University, Washington State, no.
We've taken a few small institutions on just as sort of proof of concept, and
Yeah.
and we think that this has tremendous potential for small institutions who can't afford to operate a system anything like this. So, somebody at some little state university who has a relatively important collection of some kind of fossil or something, basically we can create them an account. If they need serious help, obviously they're going to have to find money. I think it costs Western New Mexico something like $10,000 to have Dusty migrate the electronic data they had. Those costs obviously depend on the quality of the data we're coming from, how much standardization has to be done, and so forth. But once they're in, they can manage their specimens online. All they need is an internet connection and a browser, and they're hooked to. There's a digger provider and so forth, so their stuff starts to show up in GBIF and PaleoNet and BirdNet or wherever. So we think it has huge potential for small institutions, but at the moment we're not mandated to go out looking for them. We have brought in a couple.
Any more questions while we?
I'll ask a question, actually. So have you figured out some sort of rules in terms of what size organization would qualify for this special treatment? The reason I'm asking this question is because the LSU guys, which have a big museum and an important one, but really don't have a budget to pay $5,000 a year. I've actually talked to them about
As far as we've gotten with that is we now have a steering committee, and your director is on that steering committee, and I think it's basically up to them to decide how big you have to be before you start paying taxes.
If they serve their own data, would there still be a cost associated with it?
Like a different instance? Is that what you mean? Like
Not from us, but yeah.
If it's a different instance,
Yeah,
they have
they'll build
internal
their own
costs,
system, they're gonna
Oracle
support it.
licensing, server, support, et cetera, et cetera.
If they joined, it would, I see.
An example of a minimal cost would be MSB, who's probably going to bring in more collections and contribute more. But for the last couple of years, they've essentially been paying a half or a third of the hosting costs, which have been, we're $12,000 a year, and just went up to $15,000 a year. So they've been looking at $5,000 or $6,000 a year to have 300,000 specimens online, and they're heavy users, and they're really using it.
So I think one thing that will be useful, because we're talking, as a curator, I'm talking to people at other institutions who have really lame databases for, like LSU, it's horrible. They really need something different. But if I don't know what the costs are, it's hard for me to tell them what the options are regarding Arctos, what they should be thinking about.